idea.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our March 17th Commissioners non-action meeting. Happy St. Patty's Day. I am Commissioner Georgia Miller, representing District 1.
Rick Hall, District number 2.
Vicki Rains, District 3.
Okay. First, we do have an added item that was not on the agenda. This is a discussion item, a presentation regarding the middle SATSUP and the road conditions. I will, following this presentation, go ahead and allow public comment just on this item. The rest of public comment will need to wait till further in the meeting. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and we will call on you for public comment related to the road, Middle SATSUP Road, when the time comes. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to John Becker.
Okay. And so I have two on here. So Middle SATSUP Road closure, and then also Gleason Bridge at the end. Next slide. Takes me better to.
No,
she's got. So the closure is located roughly at milepost 3.1 on Middle SATSUP Road. The issue, roadway sediment and cracking. The primary cause is a rotational landslide. I'll explain that a little bit more later. But we feel like it was onset with stream bank erosion. The stream bank was resisting the movement, so once it eroded, it allowed the failure to kind of expose itself. Additional factors, heavy rain and flooding that we had the last week, and then again this week. And the result is a closure due to significant roadway damage and safety risks. Next slide.
We can't hear this after.
Oh, okay.
I can't hear in the.
It's all garbled and nobody can hear.
Okay. Just one moment. We're having technical difficulties in the large conference room.
John, I don't know if you were at the county when it happened, but that reminds me so much of 107 when we had that big event. You remember that on 107? Did that same reaction?
Oh, well, we got that.
Right across from Friends Landing on 107.
Okay. I think I do vaguely.
But I mean, it was state because it was, yeah. But that's what that reminds me of. And kind of Blue Slough.
Yeah.
Huh?
That picture doesn't actually do it justice. Seeing it in person,
Well,
that doesn't look as bad as it.
But it just works every day.
I think it's worse. It's worsened since that was taken.
I think that was taken yesterday, but it's, each day it's
It sounds
moving
a little
like 6
bit
inches.
worse. Yeah.
It is. I think it looks like parts of I-90.
You definitely don't want to hit that going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes. Is that a 6-inch difference on the far end?
It's really
more than
about
that. Yeah.
That's a foot.
Oh, yeah. That's why it said it's.
Yeah, it does.
There's probably about a foot of asphalt there, just because it, continual, settles a little bit and then just pop it off to smooth it out.
Yeah, it's big. It's significant.
I don't know, can you smooth out a foot?
Is that the cross the road that goes?
Yeah.
What's that?
That goes on from that lot.
Yes. So they're rerouting. It's a 16-mile reroute
Good teach.
for the
Are they able to hear us?
right on the other side. You just speak.
Okay. Okay.
Are we good? Go ahead.
Okay.
We can't hear you in the other room, and there is a room full of people wondering why you're in here and not over there. This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous to be in this room when you've got a room full of people that want to hear and be able to
The
address
discussion.
You can pause this and get over there.
Could you step out? You're interrupting our meeting and we are discussing that issue right now.
And we can't hear you.
Well, I'm sorry, did you not hear Commissioner Miller say that there's technical difficulties?
Then let's bring chairs in so people can hear.
Why don't you give us a second to discuss the situation? We heard you. You don't need to berate us. So you can go back into the chambers and we'll.
Then
finish
please
shortly.
wait until we can hear you before you address the road.
I'm not.
Has it been fixed out there?
It's as loud as possible. I can hear everything that was being said while you were having side conversations, so I'm not sure.
We have clappers.
Would you like to go back to the first slide?
Yeah, I can start with that again.
Okay. Alicia, can you go back to the first slide, please?
We're gonna go ahead and restart the presentation for the Middle Satsup Road closure.
They're talking out there, so can I hear us?
Can the people in the large conference room hear us now?
I think we need to move out there.
Okay.
I think let's go.
We're gonna move the meeting out
I
to a
don't know if
large
they can hear
conference
you.
room.
Commissioner Miller, the online folks still cannot hear.
We're having some kind of technical difficulty because there's no sound coming through Zoom at all.
Okay.
Oh, she just said that it's just returned. Okay. Sorry, everybody. This doesn't usually happen, but we weren't prepared to do the meeting out here. So we weren't set up in advance.
Okay,
Please continue.
Okay. March 16th, it's continuing to move. I think it's been about 6 inches a day. We got in yesterday, we removed the guardrail just so we can salvage that, get it out of the way. And then PUD was also in to relocate their power poles outside of the failure, because the way it was, their pole was right in the middle of it. Next slide. Aerial photo. One thing that noticed, like the way that the cracks are, it's kind of an arc formation. That's kind of telltale of slide. A lot of times if you look at LiDAR or previous slides, they'll kind of be a half moon arc like that. And then just the close proximity to the river. Then we have one more that can give you a different angle, shows the proximity and the height over the river as well. So on the next slide, you can see, much more erosion right where the slide is, or like where the failure slide is, but there's stream bank erosion up and downstream, which is kind of ongoing, leading to this issue. Next slide. That's one of the spots where it's dropped about 2 feet. That's where I think the initial bumps that were felt most by the vehicles that's the one that dropped maybe about a foot that led us to do the closure. And it's continued to move since. Next slide. Again, just showing photos. You can see how the center line shifted, and then just the way that the right edge line has moved as well. Next slide. Again, that location where it's dropped about 2 feet. Next slide. There's continues to be erosion. This tree, I think, came from upstream, is probably providing us a little bit of relief right now. But I think on Sunday mornings when we first noticed this one being present, so it came downstream from eroding elsewhere. Next slide. Cracks. That one is, probably about a foot of asphalt, then a little bit more for the settlement. Next slide. Assessment. So the slide appears to be part of a larger failure plane that's in the vicinity. There's evidence of other ones between the boat launch and this current location. Loss of material at the toe of the slope is what we believe allowed this to break loose. The material was there providing resistance to the slide. And then once it was gone, it allowed it to overcome those forces. River erosion is likely the contributing factor that allowed this to break loose. Movement is continual and continuing each day, and we're just monitoring as it goes. Next slide. A rough sketch, just so I've said rotational slide a couple of times just to give a picture to it. It's near vertical by the ditch line, and then the whole material will just want to slide outward towards the river. And that was kind of evidence on one of the edge lines is probably dropped a little bit more than the other edge line. So it's rotating outward towards the river. And the yellow or the red line is roughly the failure plane, approximately. And then in blue was the mass of material that was eroded. That was counteracting it from moving. So once that was gone, that allowed it to start moving. And there was up and downstream, there's an old rail grade from the Satsupp rail, I think is what it's been relayed. Next slide. Short term, if we can do it safely, we want to put a 1-lane gravel road in. This will need to be built over the existing ditch right on the edge of the failure. We would like to open up to alternating traffic for passenger vehicles. We'd have heavy trucks still continue to use the detour. And then next slide, just a rough sketch on roughly what it would be. We would put a culvert in the ditch, try to capture all the water, bypass the slide. We'd have some geotextile in there to keep water from getting into the slide, build it up on quarry spalls to get a good angular material and base, and then just crush surfacing for a driving surface. We may have to get into the existing slope and widen it a little bit. But the hard part is we'll be working right on the edge of the failure because the shoulder and ditch line has a little bit of instant cracks. So we'll have to look closer and see if we have competent soils to build on. And next slide. Long term, it'd be either if the slide continues to go we'd be able to know where the failure plane is at. Or if it stops moving, then we would excavate 25 to 30 feet deep is our estimate. We would want to get down to competent soil below the failure plane, build back a rock buttress, which would just be a large mass angular rock. It would be keyed into soils below, keyed into soils beyond the limits of the slide, just to provide resistance so that it wouldn't continue again in the future. The buttress just provides structure that can resist future movement. It's complex. This will be a complex and costly solution. Take a little more time to find out all the details of it. And then next slide, just a rough sketch. The rock buttress would be much wider at the base, angled up. And we'd be getting down near water surface, depending on the excavation slopes, whether we get out to the river, which would then have some permitting issues, and not issues, but just more permitting with Fish and Wildlife and some of the other agencies. And next slide. Our next steps, we'll continue to monitor. I think we'll meet with the geotech consultant again this Friday or Monday, kind of depending on whether we'd like to wait for the weather to subside so we can get a look at it and see what it's been doing. We've met with Fish and Wildlife. We'll continue to coordinate with them as well as other regulatory agencies. We'll evaluate our temporary bypass option if we have soils that we can build up on. And then just develop our final plans and a cost estimate for a permanent repair. And part of it too is just kind of see what we're working with there, whether it continues to move or if it stops, and then we can make a plan from there. And then just up the road at milepost 3.5 is Gleason Bridge, which was also a current concern that was brought up. Next slide. So Middle Satsop Road, milepost 3.5, this issue is erosion. Cause is migrating west fork of the Satsop River. Heavy rains, flooding have been adding to the erosion. And its potential threat to the approach roadway of the Gleason Bridge, as well as a poor angle of approach, could lead to scour issues at some of the intermediate piers. Next slide. Recent aerial photos that we took after some of the flooding this year. Google Earth, I didn't prepare any, but Google Earth has a good time lapse where you can see kind of how the river's changed in this vicinity. It's one that it's been on kind of our radar. We've known it's been coming, but it's been on private property, so it's a difficult one for us to get in and do anything about it until it gets close enough that then it's time to act. Then next photo will show just a different angle. So it just kind of keeps continuing, adding to the oxbow, eroding the field. Doesn't show up real well, but it's getting into a little bit different soils. Near the bridge abutment, there's a little bit more rock in there that was placed probably during construction. It's that structure does catch debris regularly, but usually it's been at Pier 3, not Pier 2. So this year, Pier 2 is where it collected debris. We had to have a contractor come out to remove it. And when the debris catches, can add to erosion potential. Next slide. What we're working with on this one, we've been coordinating with multiple agencies. So NRCS, the National Resource Conservation Service, Office of Chehalis Basin, Chehalis Conservation, or Grays Harbor Conservation District, and then the Chehalis Basin Flood Authority. Through talking to all those agencies, where our most likely path forward is with NRCS. They have an emergency watershed protection program that can provide 75% of the funding. So we're working with them based on their guidance, and then as well as our past practice, we're going to lean much more into rock than we have most recently. It's kind of the tried and true that's been done in the past, but it's been kind of frowned upon more so lately. It's been going more to soft armoring of engineered log jams and other mitigation in that way. We're going to push more so to riprap just as the past practice and just its success in the past and for ourselves. We may end up doing some wood features in it just to help with mitigation, but we're looking at doing like about 900 linear feet of riprap from the structure upstream to wrap around a creek. Talking with Fish and Wildlife, the mitigation is usually for what you put in, they would like to see come out elsewhere, which we'd have a hard time with that because once we put in riprap, we usually have it there for a reason. So we'll have to kind of try to get a little bit more creative on how to mitigate some of the impacts. And the mitigation is under like no net loss of fish habitat. So that's kind of where they're coming from on their standpoint. Next slide. Partially what we can do is do some plantings, try to get some vegetation there, which will help hold it up as well. But we're going to lean much more into the rock on this location and then planning and do what we can to help mitigate. Timeline, working with NRCS, it's a much faster program than some of the other ones to get through the permitting. It could be potentially as soon as this summer if we can really get things going. We don't really want to have to overwinter again, and because then by that time it will change by the time we get to next summer. So we've been coordinating with Fish and Wildlife, and then NRCS, and they have a couple other permitting agencies that they'll coordinate with. They'll do some of the stuff in-house to support us. But we're trying to get that one going much quicker as well. I believe that's it for the slides. There might be one more. So I think that was it.
Okay.
Any questions?
Well, I just want to thank you for the presentation, and I want to remind everybody that the reason why we had the presentation is to inform the public. You cannot change the flow. The river is going to do what the river is going to do. This is not due to negligence. This is just part of living along rivers. So, but thank you for the presentation and taking action to get this moving. You gave a timeline for the middle SATSA, but how soon do you anticipate the potential of getting one lane open? I know there's some variables there because you're watching it due to it's still raining.
Yeah. We'll take a look again Friday or Monday just to see what it's been doing. We'll have the geotech come out again. We could potentially mobilize as soon as like the middle of next week, but it really depends on what we have to work with and what we have to build back on.
All right.
The way the evidence of where it's failing is like right on the edge of the pavement, right by the ditch line. So it's a little hard to build back on there because you're just right on the edge of that failure and you don't want anything to spill over.
And on the other side, it's private property. And so,
yeah. I mean, we're working private property on both sides of the right of way. It's limited. There's some historic slides there where it does go fairly steep up the slope. So if you did anything, you'd have to bench in, which could potentially have its own issues as well.
Okay. I did take a tour of some of the damage yesterday with Kevin McDougall from our roads crew. I appreciate that. The pictures don't actually do it justice. It's worse in person, and definitely something that we need to address. And then, of course, rerouting heavy traffic on the other road, the detour road, is an issue also because there's some problems over there. So, so keep in mind that we are aware and we are working on it. At this time, John, if you would kind of step off to the side, but stay close by.
Yeah.
Yes. If any of the other commissioners have questions to ask John, that'd be great. And then what we'll do is have John, once that's done, if you could just step off to the side. So as people come up and ask questions, you're still close by to answer. So thank you.
Go ahead. I had a question regarding the riprap, and I know with the flood authority and the OCB that they like us to take riprap out.
Yeah.
That's the preference. Is the riprap that you're talking about, is it going to be temporary or is it going to be something permanent? Will Fish and Wildlife allow it to remain is basically my question. Or are you utilizing it in a temporary fashion to take care of what we need in looks for a permanent fix down the road?
We're looking at it as a permanent fix.
You're
So
looking
we-
at the riprap as a
Yeah.
permanent fix?
Yeah. And we would do our best to soften it to help with the permitting agencies, but that's where it kind of comes into that they would like to see riprap come out elsewhere for the habitat benefit.
And we are taking some out on Keys Road.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we can chat a little bit more.
When they take out the Oakland dam.
Dam?
That's backing up there, they're gonna open up 13 miles. Is that,
I think
Can
they
we
want
mitigate-
riprap removed for riprap. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
it seemed like from the conversation, it's kind of like a one-to-one mitigation. Like if you're putting so much riprap in here, we'd like to see it come out,
Somewhere
you know,
else. I don't
comparable
know,
elsewhere.
Commissioner Hole, if they're using riprap in that
I-
area.
I wouldn't know either. I just,
I,
the big deal would be a fish habitat.
right. We are removing some along that area though on the Keys Road. So, and there's a lot.
And I guess that's one thing to add that, you know, some of the work we can do under emergency where we can get in, do riprap just to protect it. So there's always that option. But the risk with that is that once we permit after the fact, that then we could be asked to take it out. So it's just not a good use. I mean, it's good to protect it, but it comes at a cost, additional cost to take it out and then do an additional repair later.
When you look at that bridge and think about the cost it would be to rebuild that,
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
if you lost it, I mean, I can't imagine why they wouldn't be willing to move very fast on that.
Well, I mean, it's if we're able to get in there this summer, that's fairly
Yeah,
expedited.
no,
compared to normal.
I agree. Yeah, this summer would be great.
But who knows what it's going to look like come Monday, Tuesday next week. We're expected rain through the weekend. So, and if you have much more erosion or scouring, it could be a lot worse than what we have it now. Thank you.
Been a really bad year for river erosion. I know, a really bad year. We do have some questions in the chat, so I can't see who they are. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess I have it.
Can you just
Isolated.
read them, Wendy?
I sure can, because I can't move and my mouse is not responding. There's a question about how many residents are affected by the Middle Satsop Road closure, as well as if we have any indication of EMS response time for residents.
I don't have a number on the residents. We did talk with Fire District 2. They came out once they heard that we were closing it, and they were going to coordinate with, I don't remember the other district, but it'd be coming out of Mason County. So it's impacted, but I don't know. I don't have a good number on the time.
It is sadly about 16 minutes, I think we clocked for the worst affected residents out there to bypass that. You know, so
That's a lot. That's
so it's
16 miles or 16?
16 miles for each way. And so it is certainly a big impact that we want to address as quickly as we possibly can. Was there another question? Is there? Okay.
Do we say how many residents are?
I don't have a number.
You don't have that number either. Okay.
If there is anybody in the audience that wants to speak on this issue on the Middle Satsop Road, if you can please make your way up to the.
I think there's a list.
Oh, there's a list. Excuse me. Okay, if you're online, please raise your hand. Again, this is regarding the Middle Satsop Road. These issues. Any other public comment would be waiting till another time.
I'll monitor the order online.
So. Okay. I see. So I have a list here on general topics. So is there anybody here on this list who is wanting to discuss on this topic? Okay, if you want us to discuss on this topic, go ahead and make your way up to the lectern, introduce yourself and the city of residency, and go ahead. You get 3 minutes to speak.
It may not.
Dan Bullholt from Aberdeen. I can solve all your riprap problem. Don't use it at all. Put in large, full-size spruce trees. Berglund Schmidt Engineering already has it all done. We were going to do Lakeside Industries that way. The tribe approved it. The tribe denied any riprap. And so all that engineering is there. It's just sitting there. Large spruce trees work. It's natural, it slows the water, cushions the bank, collects silt, and creates fish habitat. It's a win-win-win. Solves all your problems.
Well, thank you. Go ahead.
Dan Wood, 1365 West Satsop Road. So the middle Satsop Road is closure is right between the boat launch and West Satsop. So we go around to East Satsop. First, I want to say I think what I've heard from everybody on the West Satsop Road is when we've had issues with flooding or down trees or whatever, the county road crew, the PUD, et cetera, have done good service for us, and we appreciate that. I haven't heard anybody say that they think this is a negligence thing from the county. Commissioner Miller's right. The river does what it does. It's an extra 25, 30 minutes into town. I've seen District 2 run their ambulances out our direction through the East Satsop. So that is a concern. So getting the light passenger vehicles and emergency vehicles through, I think, is important. I also think Commissioner Rains is correct with the Office of the Chehalis Basin and the Flood Authority being real hesitant to put in the riprap. So, and I know Commissioner Rains is familiar with a number of projects where we've used log jacks or the large woody debris that Dan Boholt was talking about. So I wonder if they would say the riprap doesn't count as negative if you then put the log jacks or the large woody debris between the riprap and the river. So, you know, shore it up with the riprap and then put in the large woody debris and the log jacks like we did at the city of Montesano, and it saved the sewer treatment plant there. But it attracted vegetation and branches and logs coming down, and we saw soil added back in there with all of that, which helps stop the erosion and helps add to the fish habitat. So I think maybe a conversation about buttressing the riprap with the large woody debris might help this along, but it's urgent to get at least light traffic and emergency vehicles through.
I agree.
And thank you for the meeting.
Thank you.
Just to be clear, Dan, I appreciate your comment. We did do a lot of the ELJs around the sewage treatment plant in Montesano, and other places. We've seen them up towards Lake Quinault and other things. But I just want to clarify a point. It's the state that wants the riprap removed. Fish and Wildlife, it's not the Flood Authority or the OCB that want it removed.
Right.
Just want to be clear.
Yeah, well, the reason the Office of Chehalis Basin and the Flood Authority are hesitant is because it's state funding usually. And
State and federal.
And ELJ is engineered log jam.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
You're speaking acronyms here, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on this item? Go ahead. And again, if you could state your name and where you're from.
My name's John Todd, and I live on the middle Satsop also, about 3 miles above the Gleason Bridge. And I want to applaud your group because what you, John, wherever he went, described, I think is exactly what you need to do. You got a lot of road builders in the room here, half the Brumfield families here. They know a lot about it. And I think most of the people that live up where we do would be really pleased. I walked down to the site yesterday and took some pictures, talked to a PUD guy and a couple of county guys. And they said they're still planning. And the PUD man said, we got 2 poles we're going to take out. And Jerry and Laura said they actually did take them out. So that part of the deal is done. I think if you can establish cut into the bank and establish enough of a surface that you can get passenger travel through there and emergency vehicles, it'd be wonderful. I don't think you probably want to have big trucks on that for quite a while. They're still using the East Satsop Road, and I saw the work they did up there 2 days ago. But I think you're definitely on the right track. And I would ask you, I think, if you get wadded up in permitting process and stuff, Cliff and Elizabeth Perry own that ground right next to Georgia. You may have talked to them already, but Betty's pretty amenable probably to allowing somebody to carve away part of their hill to get a wider, runway through there. I mean, they're easy to work with. They're older people, but they're certainly not stupid. And anything you're gonna do in the future around the bridge, I'm sure they'd be more than amenable to that. So they're good people to know, and they would help you get through the permit process, I'm pretty sure. I think you're definitely, if you can get one-way traffic going through there at 10 miles an hour, you probably wouldn't even see these people again until the next meeting.
Hey, John,
thank
I
you.
can tell you that we did do at the sewage treatment plant, where the engineered log jams are located. We pulled back on personal property, pulled the sod, removed the sod, and we placed those several hundred that are deep in there. And then we relayed the sod or planted for them. So just getting that access in there a lot of times, and I think Brumfield worked on some of that by the, I could be wrong, by the sewage treatment plant. But there is ways that we can work with them and still go in and build up and restore their property afterwards versus it just eroding.
Right.
Which we saw that with Chapman's farm, who lost a lot of land.
Mhm.
Well,
So
I know Patrick's pretty well, and if you need to buy any root plots, they'll sell them to you.
Well,
sounds
thanks.
good. Thanks.
Anybody else to speak on this issue? If you want to come on forward, is there anybody with their hands raised in the chat box? Okay, well, with that, I do want to thank you all for your presence here today. We are clearly taking this very seriously and doing everything we can to mitigate it as fast as we possibly can, but also keeping in mind safety with our crews and other crews as well. So we will.
If someone has an ability to control the weather,
Yeah, let us know.
let us know.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So at this time, I'm going to ask if there is I do have a change for the agenda. It's adding an item under forestry, and the item is it would be item number 3, cancellation of invitation for bid regarding ER&R and forestry building. So other than that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition.
I'll second it.
Do we want to after this, take a recess to see if any of these people want to leave?
Sure. So it has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda with the addition of the item number 3 under forestry. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I am going to go ahead and call just a brief 5-minute recess. If anybody wants to leave and does not want to stay for the rest of the commissioners meeting, we will have opportunity for, thank you. Welcome back. This is our first opportunity for public comment on any agenda items besides the Middle Satsop Road. Any agenda item being considered this meeting, it is limited to 3 minutes. And if you want to, you can just come on up to the lectern or raise your hand in the chat box. So any agenda items? All right, well then, not seeing anybody online or in the room coming forward, we will move on to the consent agenda. How would the board like to proceed?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as distributed.
I'll second it.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm sorry, I didn't say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have the commissioners. We have action items to approve and e-sign a letter of response regarding the draft Pacific Seafood wastewater permit. Has the other seatmates had opportunity to review that letter?
I did, and thankfully I checked with Wendy because I was preparing the draft as well. I was going to add a little comment in there, but I think it's fine the way it is. So I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded to approve and e-sign the letter of response regarding the draft Pacific Seafood wastewater permit letter. Is there any discussion?
I think it's important that the permitting agencies recognize the number of employees that are employed by Pacific Seafood and the impacts that it'll have, ancillary impacts it'll have regarding the other entities that service that area, as well as retail and such. It'll be a big impact.
I agree. And I would just like to thank my seatmates for all of us rapidly responded to the request to bring attention to this issue. So thank you for that. If there's no more further discussion, I would go ahead and call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have to approve and e-sign a letter of support for the City of Westport's Source and Storage Improvement Project. Has the board had opportunity to review that letter?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the e-sign letter of support for the City of Westport's Source and Storage Improvement Project. Is there any discussion?
I think it's a really important project for Westport as they support all the jobs that are out there in the residential areas. All in favor?
I agree. All right, I will call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have discussion items, commissioners, committee and liaison reports. I'll go ahead and call to my left. Commissioner Rains, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I have a couple. I thought we were discontinuing the liaisons because if we aren't,
So committee reports, no liaison reports?
because I haven't been meeting, I figured we'd each individually meet with
Yes.
whatever electeds we wanted to meet with.
Good point.
Couple committee reports. I had my last Chehalis Basin Board meeting on the 5th. Things are moving quite rapidly. We hope to have, or the board hopes to have, a new proposal after the EIS study is comment period and everything is done by this fall. So it could be a little sooner, but I'm highly doubtful in that. I think it will be later versus sooner. I can say that the last month I recommended that they appoint a different chair with my upcoming departure. So Edna Fund is now the chair of the Flood Authority, and Brian Shea is the vice chair. And Brian also applied to take my vacating spot on the OCB, which I think he will do a fabulous job. He's been involved in flooding issues for decades. So he will do a great job there. We all had our Grace Harbor Transit meeting. Things are moving along with the headquarters, which I think is great.
Just 1 second. What's the EI? You had the EIS by fall for what project?
The EIS is done for the flow through dam for the
Okay,
retention
cool.
facility.
And you're in favor of that?
Yes, I am.
Continue to be.
I continue to
Good,
be in
good, good.
favor of
All
that.
right, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
And
we can get that
if
built.
people haven't seen, you can go to the EasyView site online, the government EasyView site, and there's a video that shows you that flow through dam. And it really has a very minimal impact on fish and habitat. For the majority of the time, it's just flowing through and fish can get up and down and everything. It really is phenomenal. So I encourage people to look at that. We had our transit board meeting. Things are moving ahead with the headquarters. Our transit board auditor did a great job with his report last week, which was great. On the 12th,
Good job, good job.
good job. On the 12th, I had I tuned into the legislative hearing for the House budget. And I was very excited that there was a House budget, then things went back to the Senate's budget and things were removed and then added back in. But when the budget was passed last Thursday evening, our member request through Adam Birnbaum, Representative Birnbaum, was granted for $112,000 for Connor Creek. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm very excited about it. North Beach Paws, they rank a little higher than us. They got $250,000, which is really great as well. Appreciate that. I had the opportunity to meet with the presiding judge, Katie Svoboda, regarding some things going on in their office and also the juvenile detention facility. And that was great. Last Friday, I had my last behavioral health organization and administrative services organization board meetings as a governing board member. And all of those are available. All the meetings that I serve on, even at the state level, the OCB, I have an MRSC board meeting on Friday. Everything's available online. You can look at minutes. I know after the last OCB meeting, I brought you guys copies of the meeting minutes and the information that was presented that day. And then lastly, in the community, I serve on the International Mermaid Museum board. And I worked at the festival running the sluice box over the weekend. But I had a really cool memory. If you haven't been out there, have you guys been out to, you live right there too, don't you, Rick? The columns, if you see
It's a great museum.
oh, it's beautiful. But the columns going into the entrance, I don't know if you're aware of that, but the late Jamie Walsh made those. She's was an architect before passing away, and that's Representative Jim Walsh's wife. She created and designed those mermaid pillars that are there. So anyway, just a little note.
I just want to add to that a little bit because I think it's a community asset. You think about the Mermaid Museum, and you probably maybe not, but the displays are amazing because they'll say something about mermaids, and on the same display, then they'll talk about the ocean and what's going on, the science about it. And so it's really not just all about mermaids. It's about working. It's about the ocean, and it's a really good place to visit. So if you get a shot.
And it's dollars pumping into our community. So we like that.
The weather was beautiful Saturday and it was packed. Yeah. Sunday was a little bit slower and it was much cooler, but they had all kinds of vendors there. Nice Nuts was there. Smitty's hot dog company from Montesano it was just great. It was really great and very well attended.
It's supported by us.
Yeah, it's a really cool deal.
And you probably know that the Roberts sold the winery and the festival and the Mermaid Museum earlier this year, but Kim was there dressed up as a mermaid to kick everything off for us. So nope, she didn't. And the last thing that I want to report on is we got notification that that our hope is that with the federal shutdown, budget shutdown at the federal level, that that gets resolved so that the FEMA money is restored. The administration has been ordered to restore FEMA, which will help us get the much needed North Shore Levee and North Shore Levee West segment done. And I did get an email from Brian today that said that he thought that when BRIC is restored, they will open it back up for the 24-25 funding period so that the flood control zone district can apply for funding for the flow through dam. So very exciting news. And I know with Brian leading the effort on the local level that there will be some headway made. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall.
Sure, I just have a few things. There's the
Thank you.
There's another one. Well, last week, I talked about the community town hall that Harbor Strong in my town, we're going to put on in Hoquiam. Jennifer Dorset from the Tri-Cities was the speaker there. There's a couple of slides about what she presented. It was amazing. The depth, she's got a background in public safety. She's from the Tri-Cities. And what she was discussing the things that your kids are seeing and doing that maybe as an adult, you're not aware of or part of. And so she explored that, and it was a great 2-hour presentation. I'm understanding that she's going to be back maybe in Alma. One of my takeaways is like, who talks to your kids about things like alcohol? They say that 40% of students report not having conversations about alcohol with their parents. And so they're going to learn about it from others. And I think as a community, I mean, we have problems in those areas. And as a community, we need to find ways to support our parents so that they can work with their kids on that. It was a wonderful presentation. I found out that the presenter was from the Tri-Cities, which is Pasco, where I graduated. That was pretty cool. And she's just bought a ropes course. And so she does skills training and team building. And I thought, oh man, we should get her to look at the ORV park. So that was really pretty cool. But another takeaway was that we have this stream of funding that comes in to present these speakers, and there was only like about 12 people there. And so we have an opportunity, I think, to try to get our community more involved in some of these ideas and opportunities and speakers. And I don't know how to do that. I think about the fairgrounds and maybe a bigger venue or something, because she just did an amazing job presenting. So if you get a shot to listen to her, that'd be great.
Was that at Miller?
No, they had the joint where Hoquiam, about once a quarter, Hoquiam and Aberdeen get together. This time it was at Hoquiam at the theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it on Facebook too. I've seen it on social media.
I've
seen it on social media, but I don't know why it's not getting more picked up more. Maybe we can have Sherilyn send out like PSAs to the radio stations and the Daily World.
We could do an announcement here, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just really a great presentation. Then I sat in on the Olympic Region Clean Air Agency.
Thank you.
They talked about a lot of things, but I think what was most interest is a voluntary notification system for burning. And that helps the regions and the fire districts. If there's smoke reports, they don't run out if somebody was dialed in and said, hey, we're going to be burning. So that was very helpful. There's a picture of that. Thurston County is relying on it, and we'll probably start doing a fee for a burning permit. There was a huge pushback from the rest of the rural communities about no fees.
Yes, if I can just add to that really quick, I would like to, once again, because I talked about this previously, but go on the record, it's saying that I did vote no on the voluntary burn permit. And the reason why I voted no was because I believe that it will become a mandatory fee at some point in the future. I hope not, but that is the conversation that I think you were having with them. And so
I think they're, trying to draw a box around that and maybe put the fee in for Thurston. But some of the fire chiefs were talking about how great it is to have that information so that they're not sending people out when they shouldn't be.
And you get to have a bigger fire if you have the permit. Just saying.
If you have to pay a fee though, I think that it will, you're gonna have people that don't get a permit. They just do it anyway without
Of course.
and if you assess a fee, first thing I think of is that, the fee would be $10 and then the next year it would go up and be more encroaching. So
That's
Well,
why
first year
I
would only be
pushed
for
back.
millionaires. The fee would only be for millionaires the first year. And,
ooh, bad topic.
okay. Had an opportunity to meet with Craig DeBlanco and he showed me through the Coastal Community Center that they've recently redone there in Aberdeen, and it was fabulous.
Mhm.
He's just done a really nice job, and that's a real asset for the community. And he repeated about, I don't know, 40 times that he did it for $97 a square foot, which is etched in my brain.
Impressive.
So I don't know if you see those pictures, but that training center looks amazing. He said that their boardroom and that the community is welcome to reserve those spaces and be there.
Did you see Lucy's office?
I didn't see individual offices or take pictures of individual
It's
offices.
gorgeous. I wish my living room looked like that. It's beautiful. They did and she did a lot of the decorating and such there. It's a very big compliment to the city of Aberdeen and our community.
Absolutely. And to be able to bring their entire workforce together and to serve their clients there, I think it's going to be a great asset. And thinking about that, how much they did with so little money, and you know that they're out there trying to provide housing for us and stuff. And so that, you know, they're always trying to find a way to spend our money effectively and efficiently. So that's good. It was a good visit with Craig. And lastly, I just wanted to close that at the Grays Harbor Transit meeting, Commissioner Rains was honored for having spent 14 years of service there. And I just wanted to, as you near your last few weeks here, just shout out that you've been doing a great job and learned a lot from you. And so thank you very much for your service.
Thanks, Rich.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all I had.
All right. Unpleasant topic, but I did spend a couple weeks ago a day up at the Capitol with WASAC, pleading with our legislators to either kill or greatly amend the millionaire's tax. There has been lots of legislators who have said that it is most likely to come straight out of the gate is not being for millionaires tax. They don't know why it was called that because the thresholds will be much lower according to several of them. Also, there was supposed to be provisions in there to help counties pay for public defense, which is a constitutional right. There was no funding in there for counties. And actually, this bill, the millionaire's tax, will hurt cities and counties with the tax exemptions on some of the goods that will have tax exemptions. So I wasn't in support of the bill at all, but the WASAC had asked for amendments to be put in there to protect funding for cities and counties, and those requests fell on deaf ears. So I will say that as we move forward, it's going to be interesting financially for cities and counties. The caseload changes for public defense has greatly decreased, and so the cost has increased considerably. And with no funding mechanism to pay for that, it will be interesting. Combine that with war in the Middle East and the massive increase we have seen at the gas pumps. We get hit hard with that at the county too. And so the cost of doing business has just jumped significantly. So I'm very concerned about the financial path forward for us. And so I would like to at this time talk about something that is pretty unusual during a commissioners meeting. I want to talk about the resignation of one of our staff members, a voluntary resignation. Thomas O'Connor, our chief operating officer has, due to the budgetary constraints and recognizing that there's a lot of financial pressure. We're under union negotiations currently with the courts and with roads crew. He has graciously submitted his resignation as a cost-saving measure to us. And for those who may be concerned at this moment in time about how that will affect the onboarding of the payroll system, he will be sticking with us through the month of April to ensure that we do get a payroll selected. And then we will most likely go out to bid for a project manager to onboard that. And he may, at that point in time, apply to be a special project lead for that, but that would be separate from his position at the county. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank Thomas O'Connor. What a class act. And so I greatly appreciate the work that he's done here and his willingness to serve the public over self. So with that, I also wanted to talk about John Becker and I met with the Grays Harbor Council of Governments. We had a one-on-one, well, actually it wasn't one-on-one, it was their whole staff, John Becker and myself, to talk about some ways that we can utilize their services to really get the increase that return on investment. And we could use some help here at Grays Harbor County. And so that was a really productive conversation. I'm excited to work with them and what that will look like in the future. I also helped with the help of Darren Rains, CEO from Greater Grays Harbor Inc., form a subcommittee for the Recompete Grant. The subcommittee is designated to put together creative solutions to help us address the lack of childcare in Grays Harbor County. So I'm looking forward to working with those people. And then lastly, this morning, I did attend the swearing in of the appointed prosecuting attorney, Jason Walker. And as we welcome him on board, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Georgia Stearns very much for your work in holding the ship steady while we make this transition. And so thank you so much for all that you have done for us. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and go back to our regular items. The next discussion item is for the National Opioid Settlement Notice for 6 remnant defendants, CL-2022702.
I don't have any questions for it to move forward.
Neither do
I don't have any questions either. Next, then we have a resolution amending resolution 2022-118 addressing management spending authorization for fairgrounds, events, and tourism. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Is Nikki or are you going to give for the public's edification, just information on that for awareness?
Is Nikki online?
She is online, but I could probably speak to this a little
Go ahead.
bit tighter. There is a resolution that gives authority to a position that's currently vacant at the fairgrounds, and there were some documents that were signed under that authority. And so to clean that up, we are going to amend the resolution until the restructurization of the fairgrounds upper management is settled, and that resolution can be rescinded and replaced with a more accurate description of who should have the authority. And to be specific, it is an authority to sign contracts under $10,000 that's similar to other upper level managers that see those kind of tasks in front of them on a regular basis. And it was in related to the LTAC awards. There was a total of 32 of them she was expediting, and we're just doing some housekeeping for the purpose of those signatures.
Okay, great.
All right.
I don't have any further questions on that. Thank you. Next, we have department discussions for district court. We have a request to hire DUI therapeutic court case manager and any subsequent vacancy created by internal promotion. Is there any questions on that?
Are we gonna
I
get
thought we already had that filled. Did we not have that filled? Can you talk to us, Heather? Give us a little staff report.
Good morning. Thank you, commissioners. The position I think you might be thinking about was our adult probation officer position. So this vacancy that we have before you today for discussion is created by an internal promotion to that adult probation officer position that was vacated at the end of December. So we're asking for permission to fill now the DUI therapeutic case manager position. Just some notes for you. This position, salary and benefits 100% grant reimbursed, so it's zero impact to the general fund budget. Currently, it is a range 19. We've worked with HR to create a 2-tier approach to this position. So we've created an in-training position that would be a range 17 to allow us to expand our candidate pool. And then we would automatically bump that position to the range 19, which is what it currently is when they meet the education requirements. It's our understanding from HR, there's a couple of other positions under the same collective bargaining agreement with that same structure. We've added the language permission to hire subsequent vacancies due to internal promotions. We have, as you well know, been before you many times over the last year asking to hire vacancies that have almost all been created by internal promotions. So we're trying to be efficient with your time, with our time, and expedite the hiring process so that hopefully very soon district court can be fully staffed.
I would say that that was the only portion of your request that I actually had issue with, is that I think that that's too broad. Any subsequent vacancy created by internal promotion. And I think that it's been standard practice to bring that forward in front of the commissioners. And so I personally would like to see that practice continue. I recognize you're for efficiency and all of that, and I appreciate that. District Court has done a very nice job with being efficient, so I appreciate that. But usually that sets precedence for every department, and I'm not inclined to do that at this particular moment. But I don't have any problem with the request to hire DUI therapeutic court case manager moving forward. Is there any other?
That's currently a vacant position.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Rick.
And then on your concern for the authorization for subsequent vacancies created, I think there might be a thinking in the organization that there's a 90-day freeze between hiring. Is that what your interest is, or is it more just to be aware?
No, I think it's to make sure that it is falling in line with the 90-day freeze, unless there is some kind of a, unless it prevents us from fulfilling our statutory obligations. And so, and how would we know that unless you talk to us about that? And
Well,
so, go ahead.
No, go ahead, finish. I'll talk when you're done. I apologize for interrupting.
I think that the district court in particular has been very good about letting us know if it is a vacancy, and if it does in fact having not waiting the 90 days creates an issue with fulfilling their statutory obligations. So again, this is not necessarily specific to your department, but more a broader, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? And so I'm just concerned with that. Commissioner Wrights?
I look at it a little bit differently in that the district court staff level is not huge. We're not talking like roads divisions is. And I think that it is very common to see when an employee is permitted, if they're internally versus outside, you'll have that stair stepping. I would, and this got to us today because the DUI therapeutic court case manager was approved by HR and the county administrator to meet that threshold of the waiting period. That I think we should approve this with the caveat that it's just reviewed by the county administrator.
As far as the cascading effect, I can see the freeze being in place if we want to enforce that for the 90 days for the first person in the department. But when that's filled and then you have a bunch of internal movement, I would be thinking more that we should go ahead and facilitate that internal movement and let it happen as quickly as it can.
This
And
department
not-
isn't subject to the 90-day. That's what I'm saying.
This
There-
department is not.
Is not. Because they have a statutory requirement to do the state's work and the district's work, both the courts do. Unless I'm incorrect, Sam, I'll defer to you, but I believe that they meet that requirement.
So I'm not in favor of the cascading 90 days.
So Sam Kim, County Administrator, in this particular position, this is grant funded, which means that if the grant goes away, the position goes away. So in terms of statutory requirements, it can be debated that this is grant-based, not statutory-based.
But you're speaking to this specific position, which I have no issue. I don't think anyone up here has an issue with that moving forward. The only cause for pause, if you will, is the language of any subsequent vacancy created by internal promotion. And so
Right.
I guess I think Commissioner Rains was asking you to speak on that.
Well, I'm just saying, can you not take that task? I mean, you would be the one that would be reviewing that to put us through to
Right.
say yay or nay. So why?
So I can review that, absolutely. The challenge is that because if the subsequent vacancies are also grant funded and not necessarily statutorily required, if there's no grant dollars, there may be some discretion here. And I'll bring that before the board.
I think that would be sufficient. It would save time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, can I add just a little bit?
Sure.
I appreciate Sam's position about if the grant funding goes away. For a little bit of peace of mind, we are confident this grant funding is going to remain. It has been included in the next legislative package and it's state grant funding. We also have quite a bit of knowledge because of our involvement in those committees to know if this funding is going to go away. These subsequent vacancies are general fund positions, but I will be really transparent. If we need to be back before you, I'll be back before you arguing to hire those because all of our positions are necessary and urgent. So that's the reason we tried to include this language.
And again, I'm not specifically I'm not worried about district court because I agree. So I'm fine with moving forward the way that my seatmates have suggested. Just want to make sure that we are vetting things for departments and making sure we're
Understood. Thank you.
okay. I don't have any more questions. Thank you so much. Under Fair Events and Tourism, we have discussion items, alcohol service requests at county facilities, and to develop a formal process. I did review the material and I do not have any questions. Do either of you have questions on that item?
I do not.
Okay, that can move forward then.
We've been doing it for years. It's just having that process.
Just a formal process,
Yeah.
yep. Fairgrounds staffing vacancies, 10 on-call extra help. I've spoken with the Fair and Events Manager, Nikki Brown, about this. I don't have extra questions. Do you have?
No.
Do you? Okay,
No
that can move.
questions.
Just so you're aware, she is online queued up if you need anything.
Great. So that can move forward as well. Number 3, we have the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee grants, discussion of 6 awards. Again, I have reviewed the material. I don't have any questions there.
I have no questions.
Okay. No questions. All right. Proposed updates for the 2026 fee schedule. Is there any questions there?
I have no questions.
I don't have any questions.
All right. Well, Nikki, you're off the hook. All of those items can move forward to our action meeting next week.
Thank you.
Under forestry, we have a 3 items for discussion. We have the Basil Spray contract for execution with Forestry Department and Everest Tree Service LLC with a contract value of $24,160. Do either of you have any questions?
I don't have questions.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, that can move forward. The result of the timber sale auction held on March 9th, 2026. Again, I reviewed this information. I don't have questions. Do you?
I don't have any questions.
I don't have questions. It seems like the sales came in better than our projection.
Which is great. That's what you said.
Significantly, is that what you said?
That's
Yes.
great.
So, yeah, well done.
Hopefully that'll offset a little bit of the cost of fuel.
Fuel.
I do have a question on the added item.
Sure. So the up next is the cancellation of invitation for bid regarding ER&R and forestry building.
Are we looking to take action on that today? Are they wanting to expedite that cancellation or is next week okay? Okay, I would make a motion that we cancel the bid on the ER&R forestry building.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to cancel the invitation of bid regarding ER&R and forestry building. Is there any discussion?
Did you want to stop it?
Do we need a staff?
I don't think so. I was looking for John. He started to come, but then Georgia said, no, they're wanting it today. So that's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah. Do you have any discussion? Any discussion? Okay. Hearing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, John. Next up, we have public defense. A couple items for discussion. The authorization to hire staff attorney due to vacancy.
So moved.
I'll second.
Oh, wait.
That's just
Wait.
discussion.
This is just discussion.
That's okay.
here.
If
Sorry.
there's no issues with it, it can move forward though
That's
for
right.
next
Yeah.
week.
All right.
Same
Next
with Savannah.
Next with the Department of Public Defense Rule 9 intern. I don't have any questions with that. I'm happy with that
Good idea.
to move forward. I think
Well,
that's great.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
skip the staff attorney?
That was the first one.
Oh, did you skip the two above that then?
Those were just review items. Did you want to review either of
Oh,
those two items?
Well, I was asking Georgia a question. I didn't hear you ask
Oh.
if we had any questions.
Yes, so the discussion items were authorization to hire a staff attorney vacancy. Do you have any questions for that one?
I don't.
Okay, and next we have the Department of Public Defense Rule 9 intern. Is there any questions on that?
No.
Okay, great.
But
Now,
I did have a question on the review item.
okay, we can talk about a review item.
Can Pam Nagura serve as a panel attorney for us? Is she not currently a judge in Olympia area? Either a municipal judge?
Mac Jardine for the Department of Public Defense. Pam Nagura's position was terminated when Olympia eliminated their municipal court. They now contract with Thurston County District Court for municipal court services. And so she never took the seat, even though she won the
Okay.
election.
Okay.
She is now in private practice with McGavick Graves.
Which she has been previously and has
McGavick Graves.
not with
is-
McGravick
correct.
Graves, but locally here and has served here as
Correct.
well as a
Correct.
panel attorney previously.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Okay. All right, then we are moving down to public health. We have one item for discussion. That would be agreement with Department of Health contract number CLH 32051 for amendment 10 in the amount of $129,253. Is there any discussion on that item?
I don't have any discussion.
They're giving us money. I don't have any questions.
All right, that can move forward then. Next, we have public services. We have some items for review. Is there any of those items for review you'd like to discuss?
I don't have any questions.
Then we'll move down to the Sheriff's Department. We have one item for discussion, and that is the interlocal agreement between the Grays Harbor County Sheriff's Office and the City of Hoquiam, providing part-time medical staffing under the Re-Entry Initiative to the City of Hoquiam Jail. I think it's great. Terrific. Any
I have no
questions?
questions.
Only question I had was the interlocal agreement was reviewed by legal.
It was.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Great, so that can move forward. Next, we have Superior Court, authorization to hire a secretary 2 or 3 DOQ due to retirement and vacancy on 5/15/2026. My understanding is this is a very necessary position. I do not have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Okay, then that can move forward as well.
I would be in favor.
Okay, so at this point, we now have our second opportunity third if you count the Middle Satsup Road, for public comment. This public comment period is for any county items and it's limited to 3 minutes. Please type your comment in the chat box or raise your hand to speak. I do have a list from the audience. Go ahead and make your way up. Again, yeah, I think so too.
If Dan Boholt, Aberdeen, if we're gonna do 3 minutes, I'm gonna speed through so fast you'll never hear anything. So
Perfect.
can I have some grace?
Yes, go ahead.
You have someone waiting online, so we need to limit 3 minutes.
Yes, 3 minutes.
On spruce trees, again, 28 years ago, I started an erosion project with spruce trees and Christmas trees that I got from the Boy Scouts. It stopped the erosion and I've gained back 40 feet of the riverbank. It's all slope vegetated. It's fantastic. You can do the same with the Satsop River Road.
Thank you.
I offered my help to your staff and he wasn't interested. So back to why I was here today. I'm the Working Wild Olympics and the Olympic Public Access Coalition spokesperson. The two groups work together. So I was going to give you an update. The Stop Wild Olympics is stopped again for this year. This will be our 16th year of stopping it. Everything's in place we did last year, so it's a dead deal this year. Our OPAC started a Save the Enchanted Valley Chalet program 3 years ago. The park had an agenda to tear it down or move it. We stopped them. They now are not even saying a word about it, so it's in place in time. We started a Save the Kestner Homestead, beautiful homestead, 100 acres on the North Shore. We gained 500 members in 2 weeks. I met with the park. They are completely on board with restoring the entire homestead. It's going to be about a 4-year plan. We have our first work party in May. The descendants of the original Kestner and Higley are going to come on May 16th and tell us their stories of growing up there. We have a videographer coming. That evening, we're having a dinner for the descendants and anybody in the public. The next day on the 17th will be our first work party. The park had started removing all the overgrown blackberries last fall. And so on that day, everybody's going to start tackling the fields and all that kind of stuff. We have a whole list that the park has agreed to restore the Kestners. And this morning I got breaking news. I had to write it on another page. The Clallam County Commission yesterday, they always invite the Olympic National Park supervisor and the Forest Service superintendent. I have them backwards. Anyways, the Olympic Park was there yesterday. She announced they have another section of road eroding up at Quinault. We have the South Shore Road eroded. Now above there, going to Graves Creek is eroding. So they're going to do an emergency fix. The only way they can get there is put the Bailey Bridge back in place over the bridge over the Quinault. It's a seasonal. They only put it in fall, summer, spring. They're putting that back in place. They're going to do an emergency fix. They're going to leave the Bailey Bridge in place. And then she announced that the Highway Administration has given the money to Jefferson County to fix the South Shore Road. So they'll be starting on that. So the loop road will be fixed again, which is a huge economic to everybody. So
thank you very much.
And the last thing is I would encourage Grace Harbor County to invite superintendent of the park to come here and speak, just like they do in Clallam and Jefferson.
She's come several times, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's already on the list for next month.
Yeah.
Have the Forest Service supervisor, Kelly Lawrence, come too.
Great.
I have a meeting coming up with her. So.
Thank you so much,
There you
Dan.
go.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next, come on up. Anybody else that wants to speak
You
on?
have someone online?
Well,
Oh,
they raised their hand. Oh,
Oh,
there she
there.
is.
okay.
Mary Christian.
Mary Christensen, do you want to go ahead and go next? If you can state where you're from, Mary, that would be great.
Sure, I'm from Lake Quinault, South Shore Road, lived here my entire life. I am a pioneer family from Queets Clearwater. I do support the work that Dan Boholt is doing. That's why I lowered my hand. I would give him extra time. This is what I know. I do have a request, and I'm not sure if the commissioners are the point of that I need to start with, but I have run into a dead end with the Forest Service. I volunteer for the museum here in Lake Quinault, and we are in desperate need of portable restrooms in that area due to the Forest Service not being open near the hours that they have been in the past. They do have lots of trails. People are hiking the trails. With the loop trail being closed, there are a lot of people still using the trails here locally. And they come to the museum oftentimes just desperate for a restroom. They don't end up staying and visiting us and enjoying what we have locally because there is no local restroom available for them. And I've asked the Forest Service. They said they cannot afford, due to their budget restrictions, a permanent restroom in their parking lot area. Through COVID, they did have porta potties there to service the community. They've since removed those. They do have restrooms in the campground areas, but they're so restricted for parking or even for the traffic of people going through there that it's just not feasible. And our trails are littered with the evidence of people needing the facilities. And so I don't know the process of where to even begin. I did send an email to one of the commissioners, but I understand that in the mail I didn't get a response. And I'm not sure that you are the correct avenue for me, but if not, please put me in the right direction. We do need these, and we just really feel our community is struggling in the tourism avenue for this. The lodge Lake Quinault Lodge is right there as well. They have multiple structural issues going on now, don't want the traffic, and I get it, I understand it. We cannot afford to do that in the museum at being 103 years old now. So anyway, I'm looking for some assistance.
If I may, my name's Nikki Brown. I'm the tourism director for the county. There is a grant funding cycle that tourism generating facilities like the museum and Lake Quinault can apply for to help get some funding for things like restrooms or any other facility upgrades that might be needed. We also have a vacancy in that area for someone to join our LTAC committee. So if there's someone like you or you know someone else from that area who is a collector or a user, because Quinault does contribute a lot to the tourism funds. So it would be helpful if someone from that area could join the LTAC committee, and I can share the link in the chat. That way your voice can be heard when it comes to any sort of tourism generating facility that's in the county.
The other option would be, Mary, is to reach out to the county's environmental health. They may be interested in their way interested in the litter you're explaining, and be able to provide some, even if it's to provide some support when you apply for a grant or someone applies for a grant.
I would also add, Mary, that recently we've had several issues that have flooded our inboxes with emails, a lot of emails. And so please try again. Don't let that deter you. I do try and answer all the emails that I get, but I can tell you recently it's been a challenge. A lot of issues happening at the county. So thank you for reaching out, and thank you for your comments. And if you can reach out again, that would be good.
If you can see, sorry to interrupt, if you can see in the chat box, Mary, April Messenger, who is the local representative for Congresswoman Emily Randall, you can reach out to her. It's april.messenger@mail.house.gov. And she's easy to find on social media and elsewhere, and she might be able to help you as well. She's indicated that.
And thank you, April Messenger, for being on with us today. I appreciate that. Is there any other public comment online? Anybody else raising their hands? I don't see anything. Go ahead. make your way up to the lectern. If you would introduce yourself and where you're from, that would be great.
My name is Lily Pomeroy. I am from Montesano. I am also the president of the Friends of the W.H. Abel Memorial Library, which is a part of Timberland Regional Library. Normally, I would have been here multiple times over the past month, except I've been out of town 5 of the last 6 weeks. But you've seen my name in the newspaper, so you've seen that I have been vocal about the library. I don't even know where to begin. There is so much. On Sunday, TRL sent out notices to 61 employees that they had been laid off or they would be terminated. Either way, it amounts to the same thing. As of May 15th, they will no longer have a job. This includes 7 from Mason County, 14 from Grays Harbor, 4, oh, wait a minute, what does that acronym stand for? 4 from Pacific County, 9 from Lewis County, and 27 from Thurston County. This is an awful lot of people placed onto the unemployment rolls suddenly. And with companies leaving the state because of taxes on businesses and on income, it's going to make it harder and harder for these people to get jobs. We've lost 14 here in Grays Harbor. 1 I know of in our library here in Montesano. I've not had an opportunity to call the other branches today to find out who else has been laid off. But an interesting thing that happened yesterday was the Olympia Library was closed because they didn't have enough employees to open. I'm afraid that's something we're going to see happening every single week from now on. When I stopped in the library this morning, they had 26 huge boxes of books that came in today that they have to sort through, put on the shelves, and then pull and fill. It takes a tremendous amount of time. I haven't the slightest idea how fewer people will get that amount done. The additional thing is, I was told by Commissioner Rains that we have 2 libraries that are going to be closed or they'll only be accessed by a card. So they'll be, I don't know, whether it's from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. or 24 hours around the clock. I haven't the slightest idea. My concern there, and a concern that you should have as commissioners, is for the liability. They have TRL will tell you that they have cameras. The cameras do not stop crime. Cameras only record the crime. I'm out.
3 minutes. I would like to say the Board of Commissioners is very aware of the issue. And I think we spoke briefly before the meeting as well. That
I have so much more to say, but
I'm sorry.
okay.
We do intend to, we've been reaching out to area commissioners that are also representing for the Timberland Regional Library. And I believe we've also reached out, I know I have, to our appointed board member for Timberland Regional Library. So this isn't the last of this. It's not over. I agree that something is drastically wrong, and hopefully there can be some accountability, because these are valuable assets to our community. They've been entrusted to these people, and I think there is a severe lack of trust happening right now, and rightfully so. So just know that I do not agree with what is happening currently. It's I think a disaster, And hopefully something can be done with that. So, so thank you for being here today and having your voice heard. We do hear you. It is one of the email items that I have received a lot of emails over that item as well. And I am quite certain my seatmates have as well. And so it is definitely on our minds. So
You want to, if you have notes prepared that you want to leave copies of.
That would
you
be
Oh,
can-
they're
it-
really messy.
You're-
They're really messy because I didn't even realize that I was coming here till last night. And so I've been just jotting things down. I can send you some information.
that would be great.
If you could send it to commish, COMMISH, commish@graceharbor.us. That will go to the staff and they'll disseminate it to all 3 commissioners.
And for anybody listening, there is a board meeting tomorrow evening. It is online Zoom. I believe that the Timberland Regional Library does post those meetings for public access. And so I believe the meeting's at 4:30 tomorrow evening. I highly recommend the community to check into that and attend that meeting via Zoom. So thank you very
Is
much.
that the one that
Can
you
I
said
add
was
one-
just a policy meeting?
No, that was
Tonight
tonight.
is policy. meeting.
Tonight's policy?
Tonight is
Policy
policy
meeting
and the
and
regular
Justin
board
Luke
meeting is
on
Wednesday.
it, and the chairman
Mhm.
is on it. I do have one more thing to add, since you're going to be talking to Dustin Loop.
Can you get with one of us after the
Sure, I can
meeting?
get
So
with you
if you just
after the
hang up,
meeting.
because we're actually going to adjourn here in just
Okay.
a minute. Thank you, Lily. I appreciate it. Any other public comment today? I think that was it.
I don't see any more.
Do we have any Did you have something to add?
I said motion to adjourn.
Oh, do we have any other announcements today?
No, we don't.
Okay, and we don't need an executive session? Yeah. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.